This isn't good conversation. we can cut this.
No, it's not.
Okay, folks. If you know what patina is, comment below.
That's gotta go. That's actually not patina. It's too much.
Honestly, fuck, that's good. Do we feel good about that closing, or?
The closing you just did? Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. I completely agree.
It was totally weird.
Welcome back.
Welcome back to another episode. Do you have any gossip for me this week?
I feel like I'm gonna save this for I have a bit of an on my bitch.
Oh.
That kind of has to do with an interaction.
Okay. So it's gonna come through a little later.
So maybe that comes through later, or do you want it as gossip?
I'm gonna say it's up to you. It's always gossip is in the hands of the holder.
Eyes of the beholder. Yeah, I'm gonna say
No. Hands of the holder. This is different.
Okay, no, I get it, but it's also
You were just clarifying that that's
no.
the play?
I was gonna say it's. I don't like it because I was gonna say it's not about hands. It's about mouth. It's an oral activity.
Right, but I guess what I'm saying it ties together when you say holder, right? Hands of the holder, and it's so then.
Is it meant to be like a rhyme with eyes of the beholder? Is it meant?
It's meant to be a play on eyes of the beholder.
Oh, right. Is it meant to be clever?
No. No, it's not meant to be clever. It's meant to be accurate.
Okay.
And it's meant to be sort of off the cuff, the only thing I could
Improv.
think of in the moment.
Yes. And that's the thing that folks don't realize at home.
It's meant to not be picked apart, is what I would say.
Completely agree. Very good. Well done. Good improv.
Thank you. I don't have any gossip, but I do have an update that I did after 20 long years. Just kidding. It wasn't 20 years. I did go to the dentist.
Oh my God.
Yes, I had.
Can I guess
quite
how many
the
cavities you have?
Yes, you can.
Okay. And can I guess how much plaque on a scale of very minimal plaque to so much plaque?
Yep.
Okay. I bet you have 2 teeth to watch where they're it's a pre-cavity, but keep an eye on it. And 1 cavity and quite a bit of plaque.
So, and where it is quite a bit on this scale of so much
Well, it's quite a bit, right?
Right.
I'm not sure what part of this you don't understand. It's right before a lot.
Okay. I would say a lot is 75% on the
Moments
scale.
before a lot.
Okay. So here's what I'll say. I have 1 tooth to watch and 1 cavity.
Okay, not bad.
Not bad. You
pretty
guessed
good.
you guessed well. I thought I was gonna have so many. But so that was good
less
news.
than you think.
Yeah. Well, not me. One time I had a lot, but that was when I was a child, so I don't know. The other thing is, as far as the plaque and buildup, she was like, I cannot believe how long it's been since you've been to the dentist because this is actually really not bad. She was like, okay, given how long it's been, you might need to come back. And then she was like, we're flying through this. In fact, we even had time for teeth whitening at the end.
Can I see?
And yeah, I don't think they're white now. They're pretty normal probably.
Beautiful.
I will say I was sort of pissed off during the experience
Did she
because
go
I was
real hard?
Yeah, I was you're being, you're hurting me.
No,
and know you're hurting me. I was like, this can't be the thing.
No, I know. I went to a place the other, a few months ago. It was a new place. And I won't shout them out because I was really not. And I was like, you are being too harsh.
Yeah.
And you have to know that.
This is what got me is I was like, is this what going to the dentist is? Because
No,
I
it's
actually
not.
think this is appalling.
It's
not.
not.
The way she was stabbing me, I was like, you're
crazy.
stabbing me.
No, it's
and
crazy.
when she would pull out the tool and I would look at it, I was like, is this really what modern technology
No, I know.
has us
It's
doing?
crazy.
It's literally
It's
a needle.
very
but
archaic.
It's a knife. It's
I
a
know.
knife, and there was so little care. She was just and she's like, oh, a little tender in there. I'm like, right. It's not a sensitive tooth.
No, I
it's
know.
you're stabbing my gum.
Yeah.
So naturally, yeah, it's a little sensitive.
It's absolutely archaic. And you know who would never, who takes so much care is Bonus Dental. I used to see them. And Dr. Eddie was
almost
my
thought about going
dentist.
there.
And he is awesome. He can get you to do anything. I refused. Okay, no, not now. But I refused to get my wisdom teeth out for 10 years. And then I met Dr. Eddie, and there was something about him. And it was
changed
almost like he
everything.
just like asked nicely. And I was like, okay. And he's just the best. And the hygienists there are great. Just, yeah. But no, places are going crazy these
I might
days.
want to check it out.
Speaking of dental work, I met with a grill specialist.
How funny that we both have oral
We have
hygiene
oral
updates.
gossip. Oral hygiene gossip. Yeah, I guess mine is less oral hygiene and more oral cosmetics, but I met with a grill specialist and I'm so very excited. We just really chatted and he really understood my grill needs.
Grill
And
meats.
I am happy to report that I will be getting custom grills. The wait list is about 5 to 6 weeks, so you're gonna
5
have
to 6 weeks. That's nothing.
right? And that's after you get like your custom molding and everything like that. But 5 to 6 weeks for design. So you'll just have to stay tuned, watch this space. Custom grills incoming. I'm
Looking
so
forward.
excited.
Do you have ideas and inspiration? And
Yeah, I know exactly what I want, but it's so hard because the thing I want is really subtle, and it's only for 2 teeth. And it's very, very subtle.
is it like 2 teeth attached to each other, or is it like 2 separate?
They'll be like 2 next to each other. It's gonna be very understated, delicate, gorgeous. But then the more time I spend in the grill space, the more I realize how much fun there is to be had. And now I just want a whole set. And I really get why people go insane. Like me and Deja were giving KJ, sorry folks, the summer house, trigger warning.
Oh, don't apologize. We're
Yeah.
getting into it today.
We were giving KJ so much shit for specifically one confessional look that he had where he just looked insane. The outfit was a lot. There was a lot going on. And I love KJ and I love his risks. I love him, but not that I think he's a super risky, like his style is super risky, but every once in a while he's not afraid to take a risk. And I love that about him. This confessionals look was insane. And specifically his grill game was just a lot. It was absolutely wild. But now I'm like, I get it. And you're gonna catch me like in an interview and I'm gonna have a full set of grills. I think
what
that's
kind of
probably gonna be
interview?
the situation within like a year. I don't know, just on an interview.
Just like a confessional, or
No, like on an interview, I do a lot of, before I went into politics, I was often the face, the spokesperson. You know what I mean? So I do a lot of
Absolutely.
interviews.
Okay.
Actually, in fact, I just did an interview for a documentary last week.
Netflix?
Yeah, it was Netflix. Watch the space.
Nice.
No, it was a local doc, but I just sat in that interview, and yeah, if had that interview been a year from now, I probably would have had a full set of grills on.
I'm just picturing you being part of a documentary, like that's like a Netflix documentary, and I'm thinking like, who is it about? Is it like making a murderer, or is it like making the band? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're talking about. I actually know it would be about someone that I used to know and I used to be friends with, and like them breaking and like doing something crazy. And then I would be there talking a little bit about their genesis. And being
Wow.
like,
Do you have someone in mind?
no, not
okay.
particularly.
Yeah.
But
and if you do,
that would be.
I had a dream about that person this week, and it was crazy.
Well, I hope this person that does not exist is well. I wish them well. What happened in the dream?
I confronted them, and it was like on the radio for some reason.
Hilarious.
Like they like called in, and
They
I
called
like
into a radio show that you were hosting?
yes, and it was like
And you were
no, I
like-
wasn't hosting. I was a guest, and they like called in, and everyone was kind of like, "You have to settle this. You have to settle this on air."
Oh my God. Imagine a live radio show where they bring in guests and then they have listeners call in and air their grievances
Excellent.
with that particular
Excellent.
guest.
Yes.
But it can't be like big public figures.
Yeah,
Like, it has
exactly.
to be
They have to. Yeah, it has to be
all
local drama.
Local drama.
Yeah, it has to be like the most popular girl in school, or the bitch at the
Yeah.
office, or like it's got to be local.
And I think the radio show should be like called like, can I just say, like it has to be that. It has to
Can
be
I
that
just
thing that like when you're just like, if I could just, can I just say one thing? Like, can I just say
We'll workshop it. I like
something like that.
I like where it's headed.
Okay, you get
Yeah.
it. Anyway, really good idea for a show. Oh shoot, I realize I do have some local gossip, and actually, I kind of
Okay.
want some advice.
Advice?
Yeah.
I love giving advice and I love people asking for advice.
Okay.
I honestly want to do a column, but we can kick it off with you. We actually did have a
column?
listener ask us for some advice
Oh yeah,
that I think would be
we should talk about
we
that.
should talk about.
Okay, I ask for advice on behalf of my friend, and then we should talk about the listener who asked for advice.
Okay.
So my friend, we were chatting very recently, and essentially, she like went on this trip a bit ago, and don't worry, I have permission to tell this. My friend went on this trip a while ago. She was talking to this guy, back and forth, and then, but it was always kind of like, at first it was going to be pretty like, it was always going to be kind of casual, but then it got pretty serious, and they were both like, we're super into this, but it was like super, super impractical. Like, he was in the States. It was just like, yeah, not super practical, but they were kind of like, no, we're super into it. We're super serious about this. Maybe we'll make something work, but also just, we don't know. And like, let's just see and like enjoy this kind of thing. It was going back and forth, and then it kind of like reached its breaking point where like, she was kind of like, we could totally still like keep talking and stuff like that, but he was kind of like, no, I don't think this makes sense. And so they like officially cut it off. And then like last week, so like even the last couple months, they were kind of like, would talk again and then would stop, and then would talk again and then would stop. And then like last week, she was like, oh yeah, like, we're chatting and like we're talking again kind of thing.
Interesting.
And was just like, and every time it happens, it's like this whole like, we're talking again kind of thing. And like, now I'm talking to this person.
Okay.
And they haven't seen each other. They basically like had this one experience like in the States, and then like haven't seen each other since kind of thing. So there's no like legitimate,
Right.
not that I shouldn't say this. I'm saying there's no sort of legitimate way forward or through that they're both interested in,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But they are super into each other. So every time they talk, it is hard. Like, it is hard where she's kind of like, great, let's just keep talking.
Okay.
And then she's like, no, let's not do this. And then he's like, no, let's just keep talking. And it's that back and forth. It's that kind of like addiction to each other type situation.
How long are we at this point?
It's been like a year and a half.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's okay.
I would say, yeah, roughly a year and a half-ish. So then we were talking, she was like, oh, I like started talking to him, and I'm like, I know it's gonna feel some type of way. Obviously, and like, she knows she gets it. Obviously, the thing to do is to just like break it off. Like, everyone knows this. But then you also can't shake the fact that sometimes you just like want to feel comfort. You want to feel good. You want to feel happy. And like, that's not a crime.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that this person is like actually holding her back in any way. It's not holding her back from dating, from doing anything. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just like there, and it's just someone that she wants to talk to.
Yeah.
But it gets to her every time the conversation comes up.
Right.
So what advice do you have for her? And how would you,
Interesting
how do you
scenario.
think she should navigate this?
My thought is, if she honestly is not feeling disrupted by like starting to talk to him again, like if it disrupts her life where she's like, I'm off for a few days, or like I'm in a funk, that's where I'd be like, okay.
I think that is the case.
Okay. I think that's important because obviously at the end of the day, you're going to do what you want to do. Like if she wants to keep talking to him, she's going to, and you know, whatever, until it's like no longer worth it to her. But I would say if it's like throwing you off for a couple, even a day, it's sort of enough for me to be like, okay, is your connection so amazing and unique that you can't like, if it's just like comfort you're looking for, or something like a little bit more casual, but like some form of intimacy like that you can't find it somewhere else, you know what I mean? Like that's probably where I would lean. Or I would honestly say like go crazy and like plan a trip.
Whoa.
Just if you need to like get it out of your system, or if you need to see, or maybe you are curious, like maybe you're like, let's just see. I mean, it sounds like he's not really
I would say they actually equally like want each other. And when one shows up like quote unquote weak,
Yeah.
then it's on kind of the other one to be like, you know what are we doing here? And then the roles kind of switch. But I feel like it's typically him who reaches out first. Like if they're on a break, if they're on a like they're not talking, he's typically the weak one, quote unquote the weak one, and she's kind of the one that's like,
Dying to
okay,
know who this is.
if this isn't gonna be anything, then let's just like not.
Right. In that case, I feel like, I mean, you just got to ask yourself the hard questions. You really do. Like, if it's worth it to, like, if the back and forth is kind of fun and it's kind of worth the chase, then, I mean, enjoy yourself.
This is bad advice.
Maybe. But at the end of the day, the thing is, the advice that you know is like, all right, I think that's enough.
Yeah.
Cut it off. A year and a
That's
half
fair.
is a long time to be like, but I'm not going to say that if that's not advice you're going to
Right.
take. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a personal question?
Of course.
What do you think husbands are for?
Husbands?
Yeah, specific
Husbands? Hell if I know.
Husband TM. What do you think a husband is for?
Aw, nothing.
You heard it here first, folks. Okay, that's all. Thank you.
What do you think they're for?
I don't know. That's why I wanted to ask.
Okay. That's a good. I like that scenario. I think a lot of people can relate. A lot of our
A lot of
listeners
folks can relate.
Comment below if you've been in a similar situation and what did you do? What should our listener do?
Should we talk about the listener question?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you this because this was your topic in your journey.
Oh,
I hope I hope we're talking about the same listener
I
question.
think we are, but
But we had talked about your decentering men journey.
this is not.
This is not the listener question you were thinking of. Oh, well, then I need to ask this. Okay. We were talking about your decentering men journey a while back, and we had a listener write in, and he, pause for dramatic effect, asked if men need to decenter men.
Oh.
And if so, where do they begin?
That's a great question. And I think absolutely men need to decenter men. I think, wow.
Do you think men need to decenter men?
Yes, I do. I think men are incredibly self-absorbed, and they're incredibly self-centered in the same way that children are. It's not malicious. It's not malicious. It's just the world centers men. So they think it's about them. They really think the whole deal is about them. So I do think they need to decenter men. I think one of the great examples I can think of off the top of my head is I find a lot of men have a hard time with accountability, as an example. When you address something about how their behavior made you feel, they often go to this place of oh, that means I'm a monster. If I was such a monster, why would you date me? You know what I mean? That energy, a very it all of a sudden becomes about them. And you're oh, I was talking about me though. I was just talking about something that you did that made me feel a certain way. I don't think this is a trait that's specific to men, but I think a lot of men demonstrate this. I think it's very common for men to have this trait. Mm-hmm. And I think that they are more likely to get away with it than a woman would be.
But tell me how that is a symptom of centering men and not just centering yourself.
I mean, they're one and the same, I think, when it comes to a lot of men. They don't question, they center their experience in a way that I don't actually think women do. I think women are trained to center the experience of other people. Right. And men are trained to center their own experience.
Right.
So I think it's in that way that they have to learn to go outside of themselves in those moments. Or when somebody's hey, this is about me, you don't turn it into I'm such a piece of shit. How could I do this to you? It's no, I'm still talking. I'm still talking about me. And you can sit with that for a moment and be wow, that sounds like a terrible experience for you. You know what I mean?
Right. And I'm seeing now how, this isn't necessarily like a mirrored image of how women decenter men. Because at first I was kind of
Right.
thinking like, okay, if women centering men has a lot to do with, yes, part of what you said of like, centering others' experiences, but then also finding a lot of like value and meaning in how they're perceived by men. And this is not in like a sexual romantic context, it doesn't have to be, but just
Right.
like and how they're held in men's regard.
Right.
So in my mind it was kind of thinking of that like as a mirror image
Right.
of
Of
men
how
sort
men
of
need to-
centering their sense of self based on how other men may or may not perceive or value them.
Yeah.
But I suppose it's not that like mirrored image in the sense that it might be a little bit more of men being more self-involved.
Yeah, I think
So
there's like,
becoming
I think
less
it's both
self-involved.
and. Like, I think there is the component where, I mean, we're all as human beings self-involved, but I think there's just a lot of like women are just like asked or it's demanded of women to like snap out of it. Like, get out of your own head, like take care of the people around you or take care of your partner or take care of your kids in a way that is not demanded of men. So I think there's that part. And emotionally, I think that's a big part where men really center their own emotions and expect to be cared for by the women in their lives, and they do not center the emotions of their partners, their friends in the same way I think that women do.
Right.
So there's that piece, but I also think there's the part where it's like the male perspective is centered in the world in a way that like a lot of men don't question when they say like, oh, like when girls wear this, that's not
Right.
like we don't like that. Like they don't question that it's like that. No one's talking about you in this conversation. Like they can't. They're like, or this idea that like, women who talk a certain way, it's like, well, that's why you'll never get a boyfriend, or like, yeah,
Right.
no wonder like you're alone, like and assuming that that's like the end result of her not having a male partner is like the ultimate consequence of her behavior. You know what I mean?
Right. Right. Sorry, and I can see you're trying to move on here.
No, not a
on the
problem. I really
point-
love that question.
On the point of the like self-absorbedness or taking your experiences like so personally, I once had this repeated argument with this man about how he was kind of like, yeah, when you're calling me out, I feel like you're like saying I'm a bad person, and then I specifically was using this argument of certain things he would say, and I would be like, I would laugh and then go, oh wait, I actually don't know how I feel about that, or like, oh wait, that actually like kind of bothers me, and he was just like, that like take back is like feels so unfair. Like all of us, like it would be fine, but now you're second guessing or questioning it if it's fine because I said it. And I was like, that's actually precisely what's happening. Is like you might have said something and it had like the right cadence and it had the right thing of the kind of joke that I would laugh at, and I kind of like instinctually laughed, and then I was like, wait, coming from you, I actually don't love that, and
Yeah.
and that he felt like was so unfair, and I was
Right.
just like, I kept using the example as I was like, let's say you're riffing with like your best friend who was grown up with you and your family your whole life, and you're going back and forth, but you're specifically talking about your mom and all of this stuff, and like this, like the things that she does that are so annoying. And this is a family friend, someone you trust, and someone who loves your mom. And you're talking about her, and then all of a sudden your friend goes, yeah, she's so annoying, and you like laugh, and then you're like, wait, that was
went over
annoying.
the line.
That went over the line. I was like, it's exactly that. Like, their intentions are good.
Yeah.
They're a good person. They love your mom, and they said it, and you responded and you laughed, but then immediately after you're like, that didn't sit right with me because of the place you're coming from and the role you have in this moment.
Yeah.
I don't like that joke.
Yeah.
And he just could not.
And I understand how the instinct is, I didn't mean it that way. Like
Right.
I'm, how that joke landed with you is now has some sort of implication for my character.
Right.
And I don't like that. I don't like how your feeling is like painting me, which I understand we all kind of have that moment of like, hey, if you're offended or if you're feeling something, that says something about me. And I just want to clear this up real quick. Like, I'm not that person. I just think that like, I think women can snap out of that a little quicker. Like women are a little bit, or maybe that's not true or fair to say, but I just think like it's harder for men to like get past it. It's harder for them to get past like how this paints them.
They're more inclined to want you to like take it back.
Yes. Yeah. Like
it's more that
they
energy
want,
of, like,
they want
good.
like, they're like on the record.
Yeah.
Like let's get this like established
kind
one
of
way
like,
or
it's
another.
irrelevant.
Yeah. I love that question though. Great question.
What was your
Thank you for
question?
raising this. This was a
That one was from
listener.
Did you know that? Shout out to
Oh, ew. I did not know that, and I love that question. It's great.
Great question.
10 out of 10. And the listener award goes to... we can save mine for another time. Okay, summer house alert, summer house warning.
Oof, yeah.
Because we are now nearing the end of things, and you have, I assume, watched...
Oh, yeah.
You've watched the finale.
And in the city.
And in the city. So we just watched... the finale of Summer House. Next week will be the reunion. I will be hosting a reunion party.
I thought you were going to say I will be hosting the reunion. I was like, oh, wow, congrats.
Reunion takes place at
Huge
my
gig.
house. But I think a couple things to wrap up, because the episode really felt like the end of Summer House.
It was a series finale.
It felt
was
like a
100%
series finale. And I
finale.
think that, you know, there's
$1,000.
Yes, of course. They know, and they knew it was the same with like Vanderpump Rules. Like people, you know, things are being wrapped up.
Yeah.
And I think that was probably the intention, you know, for a while. So it really felt like that. And it felt like, I mean, I was like, I'm tearing up. It was heavy, I think, in a lot of ways, but also like, you know,
Do you
sweet.
think the cast cries at the end of every
I
summer?
wondered that too.
I'm sure there's a lot of emotions.
A bit, but I don't know if as much as this, or maybe they just focused on it in a
Yeah, I was
in
like, I
a
feel like they probably just don't show it
particular
because like
way.
keep it fun, like but
I have a really, I had a really weird moment where I had compassion for Amanda,
ugh.
and I'm really curious if you
Boring.
felt any of that watching Summer House, this episode of Summer House.
Let me just think through this episode because my hunch says no. But let me think through what happened. Okay, it was the party. Oh, the scene of her sitting in between Mia and Sierra was like so annoying. I was just like, this
The one where they were like,
hyping
pull
her
yourself
up.
together.
It honestly, I felt it very. It felt very triggering. It reminded me
I
of
felt
every
very triggered,
time
too.
I've ever been like somebody's like resident advice giver and like.
But you know what? I actually found it weirdly vindicating, that scene. So to paint the picture for those of you who don't know, you have Amanda, who by now, if you don't know, you know, keep up. And then you have Sierra, same. Then you have Mia, who's also in the house, who's great. We all love Mia, who's black. So we have
And like Sierra's
Mia,
friend, like best friend.
yeah, Sierra was a really good friend. So Sierra and Mia are black, and they're sitting with Amanda, basically hyping her up to leave her husband, but also being a little bit like, all right, this is enough. Like, we've seen you do this for so long, and like, shit or get off the pot. Like, I found it oddly vindicating, but also triggering. Because I think that's a role that like black women take on a lot, which is it with their white friends, is to be like, all right, like I'll be your rock so many times, and we do not treat each other the same way.
Yeah.
Like when she was like, if this were Mia, this is how it would have gone.
Yeah.
Like there would be no bullshit, no tiptoeing. And I found it validated to like have that said and to have that play out. I think if this scandal had not happened, I would be more triggered than validated. But I think because the scandal has played out, it kind of gave validation to me to the idea that like we will ride for our white friends so hard, and we will like be sensitive with them, and we won't tell them the raw truth, and we'll like try to be there for them, and then we'll rev it up or rev it down however they need, and at the end of the day, like she always says, like, you guys say what I'm thinking.
I was
You're
just
like,
gonna say
what,
that was the moment when she was like, "I love you guys because you'll say what I can't." I was like,
That feels
not
very
another
race
fucking
coded.
white woman
Yeah.
using a black woman as her sword and shield.
Yes.
To go into war. I'm
Yes.
so tired
Yes.
of it. I'm
That's
so tired.
and this
of it.
is what it is. It's almost like it to me it just like played out what is such a common dynamic in black and white women friendships that I was like, it's actually nice to see that represented on TV. I'm triggered, but I'm also like, yes, this is very much it, where it's like, you'll ride or die for this person. You'll be like, come on, wake up. I don't know how much longer I can do this with you, but you won't give up on them, and then they'll treat you like shit in a heartbeat. And you're like, oh, cool. Like, I'm just like, I want people to see what this looks like and how this feels a lot of the time, like, I don't know. Yeah, I was definitely triggered, but I was also like, yeah, that's what it looks like. And that's what it feels like. So that was nice. Okay. One note about Lindsay and Carl. It was nice to see them. It was nice to see them talk. I appreciated that. Carl really I've really come around to Carl in the last couple seasons. I'm really appreciating him. But I just had the thought that they absolutely just were never, that is not a couple that should be together or should have been together.
Yeah.
Were you going to say something about that?
No, just the fact, just that I found that conversation really interesting. I found her expressing her expectation of Carl to sit her down and have a conversation to be really interesting. I always wonder how those situations actually play out, that we don't obviously get to see. Because certainly I'm sure they had a conversation after their breakup. I don't
think they did.
They just didn't speak at all.
Well, some, but I think what she's saying is true, that they didn't have a real conversation past what we saw.
Yeah. I thought that whole thing was interesting, and it really, as I was watching them talk, and I was like, I know Lindsay is very I want a husband and I want to find a husband. And as I was watching that go, I was like, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for Lindsay to find a husband, which is such a shame, because I'm like, she's so great, she's so self-assured, she is so successful, she's so strong-willed, and all of these things. And I feel like that's hard enough to find a man who is not going to be passive, who's not just going to ride your coattails, but who's not going to demand this softness from you. But then who is actually going to match her success. I think it's going to be next to impossible for her.
Well, I think so too. And I think, hopefully, the best outcome is that she realizes that a husband isn't what she wants.
Yeah.
I think obviously it's really hard to break free of the mindset. And when it's been drilled into you since childhood of this is what I want. Obviously companionship and all those things too, those are amazing and nice to have. So I don't see it as all some kind of mythical and problematic fairy tale. I get the draw, but I just think I'm is that really what Lindsay Hubbard needs? I don't know. I just think, when she was describing the wanting him to come talk to her. Yeah. With the way she was obviously that's not going to happen because Carl faints when he sees me.
Really
I was
funny.
I think Lindsay is I don't know how to describe the fact that I don't think she's a particularly nice person. Yeah. I think I don't think I would like her in person. You know what I mean? But I do feel I have such a soft spot for the mean woman. Yeah. The woman who is considered mean, the woman who's considered a bitch, as, history shows. I identify with that title on some level. And I just think that mean woman is just a very anxious, stressed out woman who has a lot on her plate and is extremely exhausted from carrying what feels like the weight of the world. Yes. And I think that's when I look at someone like her, I'm she needs a partner to help her carry that. That's what will really make her feel safe and loved. And I think that will be very hard to find in a man. I agree with
almost impossible. And it was funny because near the end of that conversation, he thanked her and said something along the lines of thanks for making the tough conversations happen or something like that, a line that I knew I was immediately triggered by, and I knew I was like, that probably annoyed her so much. And then she responded, she was like, well, I do that a lot around here. And I was like, I feel like I was trying, like I was in her body in that moment. And I was like, yeah, she is so responsible for the emotional well-being of any relationship she's ever had with a man. And I'm sure many women in her life. And I was just like, yeah,
it's too much. It's too
much.
Okay, but speaking of like Lindsay and Carl, can you think of any couples in your life that are either together right now or were together that you're like, they never should have gotten together? Because I feel like I don't really think in those terms. Like usually I'm just like, everything happens for a reason, and like every relationship is a growing experience, and like it taught you something, it was good at the time, blah blah blah. But is there anyone that you look at that you're like, that never should have happened?
That's really interesting. I actually, the weird thing that's crazy is I can think of a couple, but they are still together.
Isn't that how it goes?
I feel the same way that I'm usually like, there is no wasted time.
Yeah.
Like, but I am like, yeah, I don't think they should ever gotten together.
Interesting.
Can you think of one?
Offline?
Yeah, can I talk to you offline?
Yeah.
Who do you think?
I actually don't know if there's anyone that I'm like, that never should have happened, but someone who I think of honestly, where I'm like, it was an accident, like not an accident, but like there was nothing
that
other than just
that I see as an absolute relationship that should and needed to happen, because I think a lot of those relationships exist where it's, a matter of, timing, and you were there and I was there and we were both down. Yeah. And I think without those, you never learn you never learn about yourself in a relationship. You never learn, you don't ever have an opportunity to try on a relationship. You never get to, dissolve the illusion of how a relationship is going to save you and change your life and all of those things.
Yeah, so, but you're just talking about a first relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But you are arguing that this person this like relationship happened because this person was there. And I'm like, yeah. And if she had a first relationship with someone else, that person would have just been there.
Right.
And that's usually when you realize like, oh, yeah, no, I'm fine. My life was actually pretty good.
Right.
I actually think that experience is pretty important, of just like settling for someone who will have you. Mm-hmm. And then you realize you're like, oh, this is actually not better than being single.
Yeah. That's the truth.
Wait.
In the city?
When did you feel bad for Amanda?
Oh. I think I just, in the last conversation they had.
With her and Kyle?
With her and Kyle. And it's the end of the summer and everyone was gone. And I was like, ooh, this feels heavy. And she was just, I think, I saw a little bit more of someone, like, I can be annoyed all I want by her. And I am, and I think I will be until I die. None of this is any sort of like seeing any value in the way that she moved, or like not even seeing any validity in the way that she moved, to be honest, or like whatever. But I just had a moment of being like, I know what it feels like to be seen through the lens of everything good that you are gaining out of this situation, and for everything that you have lost and for everything that it has cost you to be overlooked. And for people to be like, all she is this flirty girl running around and having fun and like betraying her friend, which like, yes. But like, I think I just saw her in that moment for someone who like really has given a lot of herself. And I don't think that that's like, I think a lot of the situation that she's been in has been avoided. I feel like she doesn't know any other mentality than like kind of like a victim mentality, especially when it comes to Kyle. Like even there was a way that she like answered one of his questions where I was like, first of all, I don't even think that's true. Like she kind of made something up. And then she just painted it like, oh, I was going to be good, but then you freaked out. And then now it wasn't good anymore. And it was just like, oh, you really have settled into this narrative that the only reason you want to leave Kyle is because he freaks out and he yells and he drinks and he DJs.
I think she made a comment, something along the lines of, I was so excited for this.
Yeah.
Oh, no. She
said we were in a good place.
She was like, I felt like we were in a good place.
She even said, like, when Sierra brought up the idea of separation, I was sort of like, maybe if it got to that point, but we're in a good place.
Yeah, we're in
and
a good place. And she's like, and then you said, fuck you.
Yes.
And I'm like, come on.
I was like, that's just a lie. And that's a narrative that you continue to spin. And, like, you can't take any accountability for where you're at in a real way. So that, I'm like, that's a problem. But I just had this, like, tiny sliver of like, I don't want to forget that she's like at the end of what she's able to give. I see that in her. And seeing that doesn't take away from how much I dislike her and how much I can't stand watching her at this point. But I just had this brief moment of like, damn, she is a woman. And I was just
annoyed, like the trailer for the reunion, the fact that she actually like was like, West was there for me. Like, I was just like, this is...
It's hard to watch, to be quite frank. I'm
just like, could you possibly be more weak?
That's so mean, but that is how I feel about her. I just feel like you are as weak as it gets as a woman. Which is
your ankles are so thin.
So mean. Yeah, that's not nice. Okay, In the City. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. So in the city, I don't have too much to say about it. Obviously, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing like more Kyle and Amanda stuff. But I do worry that this is going to be another like similar to what The Valley is to Vanderpump. Yeah. Just like a cast of pretty unlikable characters. Yeah. I'm not charmed by anyone. Yeah. I'm already pretty like irritated by the like. Just like, I don't know.
Yeah. I feel the same way. For those of you who are not following, In the City is a spin-off of Summer House, and it follows some of the cast of Summer House, like, in living their lives in New York. I feel the same way, where I'm like, I'm not sold. Like, I'm just not sold. And I had a realization when I was watching it that, like, as someone who watches a lot of Bravo... I don't know why I say it like Bravo. Yeah, is that Bravo. Normal? Is that how I say it? Bravo. I know it's Bravo, but I just wouldn't wonder how I say it. Bravo. I say Bravo. As someone who watches a lot of Bravo, there's something about these shows like The Valley and In the City that feels different. Like Summer House, Vanderpump Rules, they started forever ago and they followed like a bunch of like dumb, drunk kids. Like that was kind of the vibe. Real Housewives is like, I'm so far removed from these women's reality that like, I really just enjoy the entertainment of it all. Like they come on the screen and they're like saying insane things and doing insane things and their lives are just so vastly different from mine that I'm like, whatever. These shows like The Valley, In the City, it's hard for me to watch a little bit. Like I'm like, it's hard for me to watch a woman in her 30s move across the country for a man, period. But like a man that's like doesn't seem to like her that much, and like to watch all these like
calling her a doll. It's so weird.
A doll?
Everyone keeps being like she's such a doll. All of the guys, that's how
funny.
That's how they compliment her when she's not in the room. She's like, she's such a doll.
That's super weird.
I'm like, what the fuck is a doll?
But yeah, similarly, it's hard to watch like Lindsay being like, I don't know, maybe like 37-ish. And so like accomplished and like impressive in so many ways and being like, I want a husband and like, I really want, like, it just feels a little bit, or like Danielle being like, I would like to be pregnant by this time. And like, that's fine. Like wanting those things is fine. But I'm just like, I'm a little bit bored of watching these women and these people that I like could somewhat relate to and watching them be obsessed with this like very outdated idea of a good life.
It feels played out, but not in a like, this is a universal truth way. Just in a like, this is boring way.
Absolutely. And I feel the same way about like watching the men too. I'm like, I'm so bored of watching like young men work their charm. Like I'm like, that doesn't interest me. It is tired. Like I just find it kind of gross. I feel like with Real Housewives, you're watching like men 60 plus like constantly cheating on their wives, and you're like, ew, whatever.
Now that's
But, like,
television.
Yeah, literally. But these like 30-year-olds, like, it just feels different somehow. Like, I'm like, I don't like how this is playing out. So those are my feels on that. To wrap it up, I'd like to ask you, picture this, a reality TV show about your life, okay? In the city of Calgary, it's called.
Beautiful.
And you are executive producing it. I want to know, what is the story, like, what is, first of all, like, what is the quick sort of like vibe? What's the energy? Is it like watching you and people in proximity to you in their like careers and in their life? Is it watching you in relationships? Is it like what's being highlighted on story-wise in your life?
Okay.
That's one. Two, what's the like narrative of you that you are like focused on in terms of like, I want to make it clear that this is who I am.
Right. Oh, I want to make it clear that this is who I am, not like what's my story arc.
No, not your story arc. The story arc is more like the story arc of the show. What's the show?
Okay.
But I want to know, like, what about you are you being like, this is the edit I'm getting, essentially.
Oh, that's really, really interesting. Okay, so in terms of the story arc of the show, we are definitely following like it's a friend group, young 30s, all living in close proximity, and the sort of story is like, yeah, 30 somethings navigate career and love and all this stuff, but what you're watching is navigating the tension and specifically trying to like claw their way out of this corporate space and like find their art and their freedom and like what that process looks like.
Okay.
And then of course everyone has a story of like love, dating.
Yes, I love it.
Are we gonna have kids? We're not gonna have all of that. But
The
it's
summary
really
starts, disillusioned by the 9 to 5.
exactly. You get it. You're
Group of
ready to write the log line.
Calgarians. Yes.
So that's it, and it is very running aroundy, sexy in the city. Like
Nice.
that, not a car to be found unless it's an Uber, like that type of energy. For me specifically, yeah, I definitely want on display like, oh, she's driven, she's a go-getter, like all of that stuff. But I think a really important part would be like following my vulnerability journey.
Oh, okay.
And following that. And to me, there's a huge through line in that, in like my personal relationships, and then what my perception of what I wanted from my career and how that evolved from just wanting to spend more time like existing, but like creating art and like finding out what that means as somebody who has never really identified like as an artist.
Right.
You
Okay.
know? So I think it'd be that. It would be like
Interesting.
pitting those two kind of pieces, not against each other, but like
Right,
watching me navigate those tensions of like,
Yes.
I'm so driven, I want this stuff, I'm this like career oriented person, but like also I'm trying to learn how to like
Discover
and be soft and like where that shows up.
Yeah, I love it. That's really
Would you watch?
really well said. I would definitely tune in for an episode
What,
and see where
what
it
would
goes.
you want of yours to be on? Like, what
I
of
have one more
yourself?
question about this. But yes, okay, to answer your question, what would I want to be shown of me?
Yeah.
I feel like I would definitely want more of like a crash course in like just being totally exposing myself and being like really.
So you would be like, I am not in the editing suite. Go for it.
I mean,
Let it rip.
that would be very hard for me, but I think that is what I would want. I would want that with people I trusted.
I'm gonna give you a bad edit. I'm the executive. I'm in the
Well,
editing
that's actually one of yeah, no, go for it. If somebody really feels like they're giving me a fair edit and not just like chasing an interesting storyline, I think I'm open to that, because I think I would come across like really bad in a lot of ways. Like maybe really good in some ways, but I think pretty bad in a lot of other ways, and it would really force me to reflect. Is there anyone you would ask to quietly excuse themselves from filming because they're too boring or weird?
Oh, because they're too boring or weird. I think the original cast would be the core cast would be quite tight.
Okay, I see.
you know?
And then you'd have the occasional friend
I think it would be quite tight, and then you'd have the occasional friend that would show up like at a party or an event, that kind of thing.
Okay. Keep it tight.
And yeah, and then I'd also cast the villain out of that sort of like second tier
Oh.
group.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And does the villain know they're the villain? Probably.
Does the villain know they're the villain?
Yeah. Not because you've told them, but because they're like, yeah, no, I
They have
get
an
it.
understanding if that's why they're cast. No.
Okay.
I think part of what makes a good villain is a lack of self-awareness.
Yes.
So
Agreed.
I would say they don't know.
If you're not executive producing, you have no control and no power, what kind of edit do you think you're getting?
I think I'm coming across as like the class clown, court jester,
Wow.
fairly
I don't
annoying.
think you have that many jokes.
Once the cameras come on, I think I would come up with some jokes. But like, I think actually, no. Sorry, I'm actually remembering. I'm rethinking about this the context of the show and the actual scenes. Like, we're not doing that. We're not at that many like parties. So I'm not gonna be.
Well, you would if you're filming. That's sort of part of it.
Yeah. Oh no, it's this. I think I'm the like resident pot stirrer.
Oh,
You
that
know,
makes sense.
I think I'm the one like really, and I think my producer, like whoever is producing me, is like really trying to get me to like pull people aside and tell them illicit gossip.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I think that, and that is in a very like one dimensional way. That is like who I am.
That's your
my
edit.
role. Yeah.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Real side note though, are you watching Perfect Match?
I have not been able to get through the first episode, but I've been
it's
trying
boring.
for like 2 weeks.
I'm not really into it, but I'm finding it so interesting how Allie,
No, I was shocked to see
like
that.
her edit is so interesting, or just even just like I'm seeing a completely different side
I know.
of her.
I was like, I've
and I'm
never
like,
met this
oh,
person.
I've never met this person. It's
I had no
really
idea.
interesting. So it made me realize how much like not necessarily about the edit, but like just environment and circumstance really impacts who you really are. But like, no doubt James knows this version of her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and that's so not who we were getting on Vanderpump Rules. So I just
Yeah.
find that so interesting.
Yeah, I can only imagine like there are people who like go on reality TV shows or something like that, like something like Big Brother, where you're like it being recorded constantly, and they're like, oh, America doesn't get to see who I really am because I was really nervous, I was super in my shell, like all of that. So I'm like, imagine that feeling, like the fact that like people aren't getting the real you because they don't know you, and like only your friends get the real you. But that combined with the fact that I was edited in a very particular way, must feel crazy.
It must feel insane. Yeah, you really have
literally never
to
seen this level in my life.
let go of a lot of control.
Yeah.
I think.
And so sorry, and I know you want to wrap here, but because we were talking about edit, I want to do my quick am I bitch.
Oh yes.
Okay, so this happened this week. I met someone at Barry's. Shout out Barry's boot camp. So it's at Barry's, and like just kind of met someone. We were just like chatting really quick, like waiting to go in, and like they had good vibes, whatever. And then as we were leaving, they were like, oh, we should like exchange socials and stuff. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, exchange socials. And then they DM'd me on Instagram and were just like, oh, hey, would you want to hang out sometime? And I was like, no, like for sure. And here's the thing, like we like vibed, you know what I mean? Totally nice, awesome, no problem. I guess my thing is just like, you know, when sometimes you're like, oh, I don't have the capacity for it. I don't have the energy for it. / I'm super busy / I don't want to hang out with you, or like, I felt like all of those excuses, I didn't even necessarily have, like, I was like, I actually feel like I have quite a bit of capacity. I'm not super busy, and I quite like you, but just because I like you doesn't mean I want to spend time with you. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like, I'm like, yeah, I get, no, it's a complete sentence, like all this stuff, but I'm just like, at the end of the day, especially with, you know, the loneliness epidemic, and we all need to reach out more, and, you know, just a coffee could change everything for someone. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. I was just like, is it crazy to just be like, I don't want to give you 30 minutes of my time to like meet you for a coffee, literally 5 seconds from my house when I liked you just fine. I just don't feel motivated to spend any more time with you than, 45 seconds outside of Barry's.
Yeah. Here's what I think about that, because I feel like I was once in very close proximity to someone who really believed in like almost like this obligatory sense of like connecting with people.
Right.
And I don't even know if connecting is the right word, because to me it felt very duty focused. It felt like you must hang out, you must be with this person, if they ask, you must oblige, like that kind of energy. And I really didn't like that feeling. But I can agree with what you're saying about the fact that like, yeah, we do live in a very like individualist society. We have forgotten about community. We want more of it, but it's hard to like break our cycles and our patterns. So I think that is true. But I think the way to get there isn't by doing something you don't want to do. Like if you don't want to do it, you don't want to do it. If you want a life that aligns more with community and these values, I think other things have to change in you first.
I feel like I'm fine. I have the community I want. It's
Right.
that other people don't have the
So you
community
feel like
they
that
want.
person doesn't have the community they want.
That's my
and
assumption.
then you should like be
if
community
they're
for them.
accosting me to Barry's. I'm kidding.
No, I
But
mean,
you know what I mean? Like I feel pretty damn connected.
right. But I'm not talking about you having a community or not having a community. I'm talking about us being a community. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think in that way, I think that is where I think that is the goal. I think that's what we should be moving towards. But I don't think we get there by being like, okay, fine, I'll go be community for this person.
Right.
I just don't think, I mean, people can disagree because I think a lot of people feel like sometimes you just have to do things you don't want to do. And that's how you get to where you want to go. Mm-hmm. I've always looked at things like, if I don't want to do it, it's probably not natural. Like, and I don't mean don't want to do it. Like sometimes I don't feel like getting up and going to the thing that I'm supposed to go to or that I know will be good for me to go to. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like I have no desire to see this person or connect with them.
Yeah.
Not because you don't like them or you just don't have the desire. That to me is not something I need to overcome.
Have you ever had like no plans, no capacity challenges, you're not too busy and you say no and you don't make an excuse?
No, sometimes I think it's kind to make an excuse.
Right.
Like sometimes I think it's kind to be
But
like,
then what if they keep asking you?
well, then at some point you maybe stop answering. I think if someone doesn't get the hint after a while, I think it's okay to, you can communicate in many ways. And one of them is silence.
No, it's actually so true. I don't know who taught us that like you have to be
I know.
honest
Yeah.
and like at all times, and anything beyond honesty is like
I thought that,
actual
like,
cruelty. I'm like, no, it's not. In fact, if somebody demands like this explicit answer from you, sometimes
I
I'm
think
just
that's a
like,
bit
you're
weird.
a bit of a sadist.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't make me do this.
Like, take my silence for what it is.
Yeah. But on that note, we're going to close it out, folks. Thanks for joining us yet again.
Until next time.
Goodbye.